It's often said that the bond between a military canine and its handler is unlike any other. But what happens when that bond is tested by unfamiliar faces and new environments? In the world of military canine units, the stakes are high and the pressure is constant. These dogs are not just pets, they are trained professionals, and their reactions to new people can be both surprising and educational. Max, a German Shepherd serving in a special operations unit, had seen it all. But what happened the first time he was introduced to a new team member would leave everyone in the room shocked. It was a lesson that everyone in the military community would take to heart. Trust and loyalty are earned, not given. Max had been part of the unit for 3 years and was the go-to dog for all high-risk operations. He had saved countless lives in combat scenarios and had formed an unbreakable bond with his handler, Sergeant Mark Daniels. Their connection was seamless, almost telepathic. Max could sense Mark's mood, understand his commands without a word, and react with precision. It wasn't just about training. It was about mutual respect, understanding, and the deep connection that grew over time. But when a new team member arrived one afternoon, Max's reaction was unexpected. It was a bright afternoon at the military base when Sergeant Johnson walked in for the first time. He was new to the team, eager to prove himself and fit in. As he walked past the dog kennels, he noticed Max standing at attention in his cage. The dog's sharp eyes were locked on him, studying his every movement. Sergeant Johnson had heard stories about how well-trained the military dogs were, but he had no idea what kind of reaction he would get from Max. The air was thick with tension as Johnson approached the cage. Max remained still. His posture was rigid but not aggressive. Sergeant Johnson extended his hand slowly and cautiously to the bars of the cage. Max's reaction was immediate. With a low growl, Max moved back a step, eyes never leaving Johnson's face. Sergeant Johnson froze. The tension in the air was palpable. He wasn't sure if he had done something wrong or if the dog was just being protective of its territory. But what happened next made everything clear. Max's handler, Sergeant Daniels, walked into the room, his presence immediately calming the dog. With a gentle command, Daniels called Max to his side. The growl stopped instantly, and Max approached Johnson, sniffing him cautiously. It was clear Max was sizing him up, evaluating him as if trying to determine if he could be trusted. Sergeant Daniels smiled and nodded at Johnson. "Max doesn't trust easily," he said. "He's got to get to know you before you're in his circle." Max's reaction was a clear lesson in the importance of trust and respect. Military canines are trained to protect their handlers at all costs, and they must learn to distinguish between allies and threats. The reaction Max had to Johnson wasn't just about being territorial. It was about understanding new people and building trust. For Max, trust wasn't given simply because someone was wearing a uniform. It had to be earned over time. But Max wasn't the only dog with such reactions. In fact, all military canines have unique ways of reacting to new people and environments. This interaction between Max and Sergeant Johnson would teach both men an important lesson about earning trust and forming bonds. As time went on, Sergeant Johnson worked tirelessly to build a relationship with Max. He would spend hours with him every day, feeding him, playing with him, and gradually gaining his trust. It wasn't always easy. There were moments when Max would pull away, moments when his growls would return, but slowly the two began to connect. Johnson learned to read Max's body language, to understand when the dog was feeling uncomfortable or when he was ready to work, and Max began to see Johnson as someone he could rely on. Months later, Max and Sergeant Johnson were sent on a joint mission in a remote area. The mission was high stakes, involving a team of operators and the need for the canine to locate explosives. It was the moment that would cement their partnership. As they moved through the rocky terrain, the team encountered an ambush. Gunfire rang out from the hills, and the team quickly took cover. Max, as trained, immediately went into action. But this time, it wasn't Sergeant Daniels giving the commands, it was Sergeant Johnson. Max didn't hesitate. He followed Johnson's every move without question, as if they had been working together for years. The mission was a success, and it was Max's ability to adapt and trust his new handler that played a pivotal role in its success. The bond between Max and Johnson had been tested in the most extreme circumstances, and through it they had earned each other's respect and trust. The lesson from Max's initial reaction to Johnson was clear. Trust is not instantaneous. It takes time, patience, and effort. It is earned through actions, not just words. And sometimes, even the most well-trained and loyal dogs need time to evaluate new people and situations before they fully let their guard down. In the end, it was this relationship that helped save the day and proved that even in the most dangerous of situations, loyalty and trust were the most valuable assets a military canine and their handler could have. Through Max's journey with Sergeant Johnson, we witnessed the evolution of trust and the power of loyalty. This incredible partnership shows us that even the toughest and most skilled dogs need time to build trust with their handlers. And once that trust is earned, it leads to an unbreakable bond that can conquer any obstacle. This story is a testament to the silent lessons our canine partners teach us about loyalty, trust, and the real power of teamwork.